So, I was feeling a little funny about going back to a particular job. I loved the job, absolutely loved it, but management was really in need of improvement. And that's not just me saying that in my ego or whatever. That's just what it was. So I pulled some Lenormand cards just to kind of get an idea, of kind of what I should do. I left that place, but then it's like I love the job, so I was debating if I should, try to go back because the boss, even though he can be kind of a hardball, he did want me to come back. But I was debating about it, So I pulled some Lenormand cards, and I pulled 3 Lenormand cards. And the question I had was just, should I go back and work with someone I worked for before? And so these are the cards that came up. The cards were the cross, the mountain, and the moon. So immediately, the cross to me was like a burden or something kind of heavy. I wasn't getting like this feeling of lightness and, fun and all that. I was getting weight, obligation, stress even. So then the mountain, blocks. This is not an easy thing. It's got obstacles. Um, and I was like, man, if I step back into this role again, I might be, it might be an uphill battle, you know, um, all over again. Which is, wow, interesting, how the cards come out, like that. So I thought, wow, okay, so then, then there was the moon. Now I go by Kali Ma Moon at this particular job, and I was not, I had no problem with that. My name is not Kali Ma Moon, but the manager there, the owner of the shop of this place was like, yeah, you're like, Kali, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. She's always been one of my favorite, goddesses or whatever. So I was like, yeah. But when I pulled the moon card, it's like, is that me? Or is that just what the card is supposed to mean, which is about recognition, intuition, creativity, something that's hidden, obscured, or, something like that. But when I look at them with like the other 2 cards, I don't know, it's like, is it about emotions? Like, am I going in based on emotion or based on how I'm seen? Because, the guy calls me Kali Ma Moon. Am I going by what I look like in that person's eyes? If I go back, is it because it's what I want, or is it because of who I'm known to be? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So anyway, the takeaway I got from it is basically I got like a caution about going back to this job. I mean, I just feel like this is telling me I need to really weigh it. Like, is this what I really want for myself? Or would I be slipping back into an old cycle, like out of habit or out of pressure, or just because I feel needed, in this position? So I basically got kind of if you're going to go back to it, make sure you're going back for the right reasons. And I encourage anybody who, if you're coming to a decision about returning to a position or a situation that you were in before that was draining you, I would say don't go back. If I were advising someone else, I would say don't go back. But sometimes when you're in the situation and you're looking at what you can get out of it rather than what you used to get out of it that caused you to leave in the first place, you start looking at, well, it wasn't so bad. I was, getting paid. I was getting this, I was getting that. And, oh, I love the actual job itself. I just didn't like, da da da. You got to think about, is it worth going back to? Is it something you really want to go back to and hold on to when that was the thing that drove you, the things that were going on that drove you out in the first place, when you knew that your worth was more than what other people put on you? Do you want to go back to the very same people who they tried to determine what your worth was? Or do you want to look at what your worth is and determine that for yourself? Anyway, so yeah, that's where I am right now, just deciding what to do about that. And hey, gotta make a choice. Love you.